Christine lived with her mother and stepfather, who considered her nothing more than a burden. One day, when Christine was 19, her stepdad kicked her out of the house, not knowing that his karma would come back to bite him, and he'd beg her for help years later. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like and share this video with your friends. It might brighten their day and inspire them to do good. Also keep watching because an important lesson awaits at the end of the video. When Christine's dad, Keith, who was her superhero and favorite person, died, she expected her mom, Aurelia, would love her more, but nothing of that sort happened. Instead, Aurelia began going on dates, meeting new men, and bringing them over just a few days after Keith's funeral. Most of the guys she dated didn't want Christine tagging along, so they ended their relationships with her. That enraged Aurelia, and she started hating Christine more. "I can't believe I brought my enemy into this world," Aurelia would say. "You are bad luck. You killed your dad, and you won't let me leave peacefully either." Christine was only 16 then and very depressed. She wanted Aurelia to love her, but all she got was her hate. Things got worse when Aurelia met Joe, who moved in with them 2 years later. "Mom," Christine said, "how can you just bring a stranger into this house? And why does he not have a home? He's the most romantic man I've met after your dad, hun." Aurelia sounded as if she was deeply in love. He was living a nomadic life, and he had this old trailer that he used to travel in. Isn't that lovely? Or maybe he was a homeless creep who fooled you. Christine lashed out. "I can't believe you're doing this, Mom. You've known him for how long? Like 2 days? I don't think I asked your opinion on who I should date, Christine. Stay out of my way." Christine hoped that, like the previous men Aurelia had dated, Joe would end everything and leave. But 6 months later, he married Aurelia and became her stepfather. Sometimes they would be all lovey-dovey in front of Christine, and she hated it. "I can't believe you forgot about Dad so quickly, Mom. Did you even care about him?" she would ask. Christine felt very alone after Joe came into her and Aurelia's lives. They treated her as if she didn't exist, and when she turned 19, Joe kicked her out of the house. Christine had only refused to clean the dinner table because she was exhausted. She was spending extra hours at school as she had tests coming up. Joe and Aurelia made a mountain out of a molehill, and they started humiliating her. "You've been such a brat, Christine. We provide for you, and you can't even say thank you," Aurelia said. "Cleaning the table was the least you could do to thank Joe and me." "Are you serious, Mom? What did you do for me after Dad left us?" Christine shot back. "You went on dates with men and brought a jerk into this house. He's been living off you. He doesn't work and wastes your money. As the so-called homemaker, he spends the entire day at home and doesn't even cook. Every night we order takeout, and now he expects me to clean the table. Are you so madly in love that you can't see what he's doing?" "Enough, Christine." Joe intervened. "Don't forget you're talking to your mother. You know what? You need to learn a lesson. You should have been grateful to your mother and me for everything we've done for you. You'll end up as a BGGR. Without us, you're nothing. And yes, you can have my old trailer if you want to see that life isn't all roses, dear." "Really, Mom," Christine said in tears. "Wow, he's kicking me out, and you've got nothing to say." "He's your father, hun," said Aurelia, unfazed. "And by the way, Joe isn't living off of me. You're the one who sits around all day doing nothing. I cover your food, school, and other expenses, so living on the streets may teach you a lesson. Joe is right." As shocked as Christine was, she didn't want to stay with Aurelia and Joe. Hurt and in tears, she left her home and went to a friend's. At that point, Joe and Aurelia had no idea that Christine had $500,000 in her bank account. A year before his unfortunate death, Keith had received an inheritance from his distant relative and immediately transferred it to Christine's account. Christine could live her life independently with that money, but she stayed with Aurelia in the hopes of one day receiving her mother's affection she craved. But after being kicked out of her own home, that Christine died. She didn't want that love anymore, but she wanted to prove to Aurelia and Joe that she wouldn't fail in life and would become someone successful. Years passed. Christine lived a mediocre life, but she worked hard, very hard, and became a lawyer. One day, she was going over one of her client's files and was surprised to see Joe's name in it. It turned out that Joe and Aurelia had gone bankrupt, and the court had issued them a notice to seize their house. They wanted help from Christine, not knowing she was their daughter whom they had ruthlessly kicked out of their house. They had only met her secretary until then. Christine called them for a meeting at her office, and they were shocked, to say the least. "Honey, oh, that's so wonderful. You're a rich and successful lawyer. Please help us, honey. I'm your mother after all," Aurelia pleaded. "We apologize for what we did, Christine," Joe added. "Could you please put that aside and assist us? We desperately need your help." "I will help you. Don't worry," Christine said. "In fact, I decided to take proper care of you both the moment I saw how this case was related to me. So what I have decided is I'm going to buy your house because Dad loved that house. His memories are still there, and I want to save them. As for you and Joe, Mom," she told Aurelia, "please follow me." Joe's old trailer was parked outside her office. "I still have this old trailer," Christine said, pointing to it. "You can both stay there. Since you both ended up as big heirs, it'll greatly help you. Thank you to Dad for leaving me his inheritance. Even when he wasn't around, he always looked after me, which you didn't, Mom. After all, you can't avoid karma, so welcome to your new life."